What happened here is that PPI came out, producer prices, wholesale prices, right? And they were a little hotter than I expected. We're going to get more into detail on that in a minute, but that's where we saw the downdraft in the markets here, and we saw that in the three major averages, Soz.
Yeah, anything related to anything hot in terms of inflation, CPI, PPI, the market is not going to take it well.
Yeah, especially the NASDAQ is what we have seen. A couple other things I'm watching, not just today, but what we've seen this week. Crude oil futures bouncing about 1% on the day. It's been a down week, though, for oil futures, so that's been something that I've been keeping an eye on as well.
And I am pumped about our energy panel later on in the show. All right, now here are three things you need to know right this moment. The U.S. producer price index came in higher than expected for the month of November, however, showing a bit of a slowdown on a year-over-year basis compared to the month of October. Julie, this was, as we just mentioned, a hotter than expected report. What stood out to me are a couple things. First, an 11.3% increase in the price for financial services.
Yeah.
My first thought is this the sign that companies are going to the banks and paying up for restructuring efforts ahead of an economic slowdown next year? But the bottom line is this: came in hot, market doesn't like it. It will read through to a potentially hot CPI, which the market may not definitely like.
Yeah, so definitely a lot. One thing I should mention, just to back up for a second, PPI is not usually a number that the market necessarily pays a lot of attention to. CPI tends to be much more important. We're going to get a CPI reading next week. However, in this environment, when we are so sensitive to what's going on with inflation, and of course, these prices will eventually feed through to consumer prices, it seems like the number has sort of gained in importance in terms of market.
And look, a lot of executives that we've talked to recently, they have said, by and large, we are beyond the worst of inflation. That doesn't mean the gains are not eye-popping. You know, we just talked to Campbell Soup CEO Mark Klaus yesterday. He's saying the peak inflation has come, but he's still seeing high single-digit increases, percentage increases in many parts of his business. Costco last night, we'll talk about them a little bit later on, still high levels of inflation, though it is moderating quarter over quarter. So good directionally, but still, relatively speaking, very high and a major headwind to corporate profits.